So far, this is the sixth video that I worked on. I never thought I would have gone this far, but with the response I get with you guys, it gives me the confidence I needed to actually keep going. I thank you and feel extremely humbled. So that leaves me with attempting to add my entry into the playlist One Marvelous Scene. And with the great videos that are already on there, I hope I can do it justice. Thanks Nando for the idea to combine all these great creators into one location. Today, I wanted to talk about a scene that gave me goosebumps when I first saw it in theaters. Spider-Man has always been my favorite superhero, and I'm not the only one. He's always been the center of any pop culture referencing and the poster child for any superhero gathering. With this latest movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, we've established that not only is he the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but also a bridge for the multiverse. Today we're not looking at the impact Spider-Man has made in the cinematic universe, but more importantly, the impact he's made in our own universe as well. This is why Spider-Man is Marvel's golden child. I grew up watching the 1994 Spider-Man animated series. Even though it was for kids, he did have a lot of mature real-world problems that I could understand on a fundamental level. Watching it to the end, it even touches on broad ideas like the multiverse theory and even cosmic beings through the Secret Wars. What didn't change through these challenges was the fact that Spider-Man was a leading force and navigated his outer and inner obstacles with wisdom and maturity. It's always been a great example for younger audiences and definitely affected the way I grew up and looked at the world. Keep in mind this was in the 90s when things like this existed. Besides my own personal admiration for the guy, Spider-Man happens to be the most profitable superhero there ever was. Last year, Marvel sold $1.3 billion worth of Spider-Man products, which surpasses the Avengers, Batman, and Superman. It's no secret with the public licensing war Sony and Disney have gone through to split the profits on the movies. But what really got me thinking in an abstract type of way is that there really is no Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, there is, but stick with me here. Sony has their own Sony Spider-Man universe officially, with films like Morbius and Venom. But Sony has their own Marvel superheroes like the X-Men franchise that made their introduction into the MCU, not to mention the countless animated series that seem to tie more and more with movies like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What I believe is that there is no division between Sony and Disney's visions for Spider-Man, the IP. What we really see is one sole universe, the Spider-Man universe, the bridge that made all these movies and collaborations possible for the betterment of the fans that have a love for the wall crawler. The reimaginings of this hero is just what we have pulled from an infinite amount of ideas, realities in their own respective sense. What made more realities possible for the big screen came from our very own universe's Peter Parker, which just happens to be a permanent alias given to the actor Tom Holland. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Holland met with Disney CEO Bob Iger and Sony film chairman Tom Rothman multiple times. Allegedly, he convinced Rothman to reconsider the proposal before also appealing to Iger. Before he intervened like this, the deal was dropped. So without the intermediating through our very own Peter Parker, we probably would have never seen an outcome for these future movies. And for that, I thank him. The scene I can't get out of my head comes from the movie Spider-Man Far From Home. This movie had a lot of mixed reviews, but it was honestly one of my favorites. The moment Marvel makes a commitment to move forward, with Spider-Man being the leader for the next generation. The scene that I'm referring to is after the fight with Mysterio, when Peter Parker begins working on his new suit with Happy. That was the very moment he accepts his responsibility. Without the weight or constraints, he simply begins doing what he knows. His science and chemistry skills put to the test alongside the iconic background music we will always associate with the immortal Iron Man. I remember watching Avengers Civil War for the first time and witnessing my favorite superhero jump onto the scene. Finally, he was there as I imagined him, the white eyes moving to show facial expressions, the funny quips he would let out like word vomit, and most importantly, he's a kid. He's immature, prone to making mistakes and still learning. A friend of mine once told me that he didn't like this new Spider-Man The reason being that he was a dumb kid who was treated as such by Tony Stark, constantly scolded and looked down on throughout Civil War and Homecoming. Far From Home isn't any different, except this time he's given a heavy responsibility, the mantle of becoming the new Tony Stark. This first comes up when Spider-Man is confronted by news reporters and asked a barrage of difficult questions he hasn't even considered himself. The most piercing being, what is it like taking over for Tony Stark? Those are some big shoes to fill. The truth is, no one has it figured out, not even close. And the representation of our real life anxieties brought on by a bigger than life character like Spider-Man is relieving. There is no doubt that because of the scene, we as an audience witnessed the birth of our next Iron Man, Marvel's golden child. I wanted to end this on a cheesy way with Peter Parker's motto, which we all undoubtedly know, but instead, I wanted to share the possible origin for the saying. Luke 12:48 reads, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded, and from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked." Thank you very much, everybody. It was honestly one of my favorites. The movie, the moment, okay, all right, the moment Marvel makes the commitment to move forward. Jeez. But it was honestly one of my favorites. The moment Marvel makes the moment Marvel makes the commitment. That's a lot of M's, Jesus. The mental level. Watching it to the end, it even touches on broad ideas like according to the Hollywood Reporter, Holly, before also appealing to Iger. Before he intervened like this, the deal was dry.